Greetings, everybody. Welcome back. We are here, episode 58 of the Standing 8 podcast. I'm joined by Courtney Tanner. We got Anthony Saldana, and we got the champ over here. We got Jessie Vargas. He's in the building. Y'all know Jessie, 29 and 3, 11 KOs, 2 draws. Just had a big fight here in Texas with Mikey Garcia. He's fought several champions, two division champions. Jesse, what's up, man? How you doing?
What's going on, man? Well, it's a pleasure being on the show. Thank you for having me.
Yeah, likewise, man. So, Stacks, what's been going on with you, man?
Man, just trying to get back into this into boxing, man. Trying to get used to watching it in the bubble, watching it on TV and getting used to just this whole COVID atmosphere in this boxing with this COVID atmosphere. So, but we're getting good fights. We had some good fights yesterday. Their boxing's coming back. We got big fights coming up. We got that Teofimo Lopez fight coming up against Lomachenko. Canelo should be getting in the ring pretty soon. Wilder Fury 3. So there's some big fights that are going to be coming up pretty quick here.
Yeah, man, absolutely. And we already know we're gonna be all tuned in on all of those. Like this pandemic's going on, so we yucking up every fight that we can get right now, man. And there's been some good ones out there. So, Courtney, what's up, man? Hey, first and foremost on that, welcome back, sir. Back in the States, you know what I'm saying? Glad to have you back, bro.
Hey, thank you so much, y'all. It's been 7.5 months. That was one of the realest experiences, not only of my career in the military and the armed services, but in my life. That was a very trying time for me. A lot of people who know me know I smile through it, even when I'm going through it. But like I was saying before we got on air, thank you. You know what I'm saying, to you, Tommy, and the rest of my colleagues here on Standing 8. And thank you so much, Stacks. Your words of encouragement, they were, they were felt. And, that was a big part of me getting through. And, and just having something to look forward to and making it home, man. So thank you. Thank you to y'all. And thank you to everybody out there who messes with us on here for just your well wishes, your prayers, and your thoughts. That means everything when you're in my position and, you're far away from home. So being able to still participate on the podcast, even being in that situation, being overseas like that, and still being able to make it, even though I'm gutted. I missed the last show with Joe Cortez. I'm kind of mad. Y'all, y'all had the most fire episode. When I wasn't in it. But hey, I forgive y'all. At least y'all did it proper. If I wasn't there to be all up in it, man. But just thank you to everybody. And I'm back in Georgia. And I'm back as a regular part of this podcast and this movement. So let's go. Let's talk some shit.
Hey, talk that
right.
shit. What we gonna do? What's up, Stacks?
Jesse, man, what's going on with you? What's going on with your career? What's next? 54?
100%, man. Well, I had made the jump to 54 in 2019, which was last year. I came out with the knockout victory, and I felt very good. That's when I had first moved up to 54. Actually, 52, which was basically 54, and then shortly after that, I get the offer to go back down to 47. I did, but right now I'm going back up to 54. It's where I feel better, and I'm looking forward to campaigning here and showing that I'm a force to be dealt with.
I know you were campaigning for a couple of title fights at 54 before you got that Mikey fight. There was talks about you and Munguia before Munguia moved up to 60. There was talks about you with Munguia moving up to 60. You're probably not going to fight that fight, but could you see yourself fighting somebody like somebody like Liam Smith in the future?
Definitely. I could definitely see that, man. I think it's definitely a possibility. Honestly, right now, if I give you the facts, I mean, you have to keep in mind that I am with Al Heyman, Match from Boxing. I think it'd be easy fight to make with Liam Smith. But ultimately, I'd leave it to my promoters, to my advisors, and to put it all together. I'm at 54. That's all I tell them. Get me whoever you want. Anyone at 54, just give me a title shot. I want to become champion again. And if I become a champion at 154 pounds, that would make me a 3-division world champion. So God willing, I get the opportunity, and then I just got to show what I'm about, as I always do. I got all the heart in the world. It's just all about me continuing to get better as every day goes by in this boxing game. So I look forward to coming back soon.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey, so I got I got a chance to be there in the house. When you went up against Mikey Garcia in Dallas, Texas, man. Talk about that fight. What things do you feel that you did well? What type of challenges do you feel that Mikey posed against you in the ring, man?
I think I did numerous things well. One thing I did bad was I got really overconfident. I thought I had it all in the bag, and I just wanted to go in for a knockout. And that's when I got hit with a shot that I didn't see and I really didn't expect. But credit to him. He's a good fighter. I give Mikey credit. He's a good fighter, and we put on a good show in Dallas. People loved it. I look forward to coming back soon.
Absolutely, man. One question that we have from one of our homies, Jaime Garcia, Mr. All Access Elite Boxing. He had a question, and he asked about, you switched, you have had a number of different trainers throughout your career. What have been your thoughts or your strategy behind that? A lot of people, you may switch up and gain a lot of different things from different people because they're all great. Eric Morales, Freddie Roach, Roy Jones. You mess with the Mayweathers. Tell us a little bit about that and the strategy or thought process behind having the different trainers that you had throughout your career.
So many things that I've learned from each and every one of them. Roger Mayweather was definitely the man that taught me much of what I know now.
Okay. All right.
You hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I've been with him for so long. I was with him for so long until we departed ways. But the only reason why we parted ways because he was ill. He was sick. It was very unfortunate, right. Man. And that's when I made the move with Roberto Alcazar. And one thing led to the next. Again, Floyd Mayweather saw the same thing, and Roger, he saw that he was sick, and unfortunately, he wasn't able to train Floyd either. So that left me with Roberto Alcazar. I moved over. Some of the great trainers that I have had in my career, I'm very thankful for. I've learned so much from each and every one of them. I would have to admit that Roy Jones Jr. definitely taught me so much. Roger Mayweather, Freddie Roach. Man, I'm just thankful that they have been able to pass some of that information to me. Some of that knowledge that they've encountered throughout the years.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Stacks, you got some? What's up?
Now, Roy getting back in the ring November 28th against Tyson.
Yep.
What do you think about that exhibition, man?
Yeah, well, you already know. Y'all must have forgot. Is a
or did we?
He exactly. He's the man. He's the man. He's fast. But he is a little older now. He's had a tremendous career. Now this is an exhibition fight. Keep in mind, it's not a real fight. Even though they're making it as real as it can get. No headgear, 8 rounds. Credit to both, and we'll see how it goes. We'll see how it ends up. I think that Roy has a lot of energy in him still because he just recently retired. As for Mike Tyson, he's been retired for many years now.
Hey Jesse, man, you're one of the fighters that has taken on everybody they've thrown in front of you, man. From Manny Pacquiao to Mikey Garcia to Adrian Broner, the list goes on and on. You've never backed down from a fight, and right now it just seems like in this boxing world, Oscar's announcing he's coming out of retirement. We're getting excited over an exhibition with Tyson in it. How much do you see that these new fighters now are just not taking the fights that they should be taking, or that they're outpricing themselves for some of these? I understand it's a business, and I do understand you guys put your life on the line every time you get in the ring, but you still have to create that legacy and take some of these fights. Your life is still on that line, whether you take 1.5 or whether you take 2 million. You know what I'm saying?
That's right.
And I know you guys are going to negotiate, but either way, you're still taking that same dangerous step once you get in the ring. But so how do you feel about these fighters not stepping up and us getting so excited about these past fighters when we should be getting excited about the fights that can be made?
I think that we all need to put everything in perspective. And no, you just said it yourself. Fighters put their life on the line each time they get in the ring for the people's entertainment, right? I mean, who do the fans want to see? The fans want to see the fighters. So I think that we should just, have a fair business to where the athletes are making money, and they're happy with what they're getting, and the promoters are making money also. It's not about the promoter making 80% and the fighters, the showsman making 20%. It should be, where it's fairly distributed, between the fighter and the promoter, and that's what some of these guys are fighting. They just want to get paid what they feel they are valued at. I mean, I give them credit. If they feel that's their value, if they did their homework, and if they see that the money is there, when they should get it. Instead of saying, hey, well, the fighters should stop asking for so much fucking money. Y'all should say, well, you know what? The promoters should start paying because the money's there. It's just like before the pandemic started, promoters would give tickets away because the tickets really didn't matter to them sometimes. And guess what? They say the only thing that matters are the viewers, right? The commercials, all that, right? That's what matters, right? Right, Stacks? I mean, I don't know if y'all heard that, but well, now they're getting what they asked for. They're getting the viewers because no one's going out anywhere else, And sometimes some promoters might say, "Oh, we can't pay the fighters anymore because we don't get ticket sales anymore." Well, all this time you only were focused on the viewership, right? On how many people, how large the audience was. Well, now you're getting a larger audience, which was the main focus. Now, as for Canelo, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, they do definitely feel big hit with this pandemic because we all do. But especially the fighters that charge $5,000 a seat, $10,000 a seat, $8,000 a seat because it's so much money. You know what I mean? So that's something to think about. Just something to think about, and I just think that fighters shouldn't overprice themselves either. But then again, they should get paid what they're worth. I mean, we put our life on the line. We put everything on the line just to, give the fans entertainment. We should be able to provide for our family while we're doing it and live a better life.
Yeah, no, I agree 100%. I think one issue though that I am having is that the contract negotiations should be taking place behind closed doors. And what we're doing is we're seeing the fighting on Twitter, we're seeing the fighting on social media, and I'm going to use Ryan Garcia as a big example. He supposedly his last fight signed the biggest lucrative contract that he could sign, but now he's still not happy and still trying to renegotiate. I think, as not just as media, but as a fan, right? When you look at that, it looks like whining. You know what I'm saying? And for people that don't understand the business, even though we all understand that there's negotiations, there's different things in the contract that have to take place. To the casual fan, it just looks like this kid's throwing a fit and doesn't really want to fight anybody. When you see other people that came in the same time he did, like Shakur Stevenson, Teofimo Lopez, Devin Haney, all already fighting for world titles and making a bigger name for themselves in the ring, not just on social media.
Yeah, man. I mean, everyone has their own route. That's the thing. Everyone has their own route, and I mean, Devin Haney's taking his, Ryan Garcia's taking his, and they're all trying to get paid as much money as they can, which I mean, they should.
Yeah, you've seen just read a lot of this stuff when they're talking money. We've seen a lot of stuff on social media lately. We saw some comments from Errol Spence lately, just talking about once you break down the money, how much after you get done paying IRS, after you get done paying trainers, they take a lot of meat off that bone, man, and the main portion of that meat should be right there in the boxers' hands, man. It's right there in their pockets for them and their families, because like y'all said, they're the ones you guys are out there putting your lives on the line. You're getting in the ring doing that, fighting that battle. So that's one thing that we definitely got to change about boxing, man. Courtney, what you got, man?
Was good. Hey, first off, thank you so much, champ, for being, you know, saying, for basically blessing us and coming on here and messing with us, you know, and saying, and just helping us get this movement off the ground that we're just trying to do over here. You know, so we just hope that, you know, so we can help the people see the shine in you, and you can help them see the shine in us. And also shout out to Stacks for facilitating you being on in this interview. Hey, thanks for the love. We really appreciate that. Here I'm standing there. I got a two-part question. The first part of it is, I saw an interview you did. I think it was on ESPN a while back, and basically you were just detailing your, you know, saying your progression and how, you know, saying you got into the boxing game from, you know, saying the time you get into the gym and whatnot. And I remember a portion of the interview said, you know, your family, I think, moved from Compton to Las Vegas for, you know, saying for economic, you know, greater economic opportunities and whatnot. And you said, you know, when you got to Vegas, it was kind of a rough neighborhood. So, you know what I'm saying, you had to be rough and you had to be tough too, you know. And, you know what I'm saying, and so just to make sure you went the right way and didn't, you know what I'm saying, you know, fall into a lot of the pitfalls that, you know what I'm saying, us as minority males do so often, being in the inner city and whatnot.
Yeah.
So my question on that end is, you know what I'm saying, basically, you know what I'm saying, I'm a firm believer that boxers, they don't so much put the gloves on, but they get the gloves put on them. So, you know what I'm saying, the first part of my question is, who would you say was the person in your life who was close to you who put those gloves on you, man?
My father. He wanted me to be involved with an after-school activity, one, and I think that he would be it. He's the man that put me into it. I also wanted to learn how to fight because I knew I had to learn. You know, I knew it was something that was a must where I grew up, and I did. I tried Taekwondo. I hated it. I tried boxing, and that was it. I said, "This is it. This is what I want to do," and I just fell in love with the sport. You know, I invested a lot of my time in the boxing gym, which kept me out of trouble. And I mean, thankfully, I was able to make a career out of it. So I'm just very happy and thankful. You know, I feel blessed to be in the position that I am.
And the second part of my question is, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, you know what I'm saying, you've been a Vegas resident for, you know what I'm saying, for a good portion of your life, you know what I'm saying, off and on and whatnot. So you came up in the game, you know what I'm saying, under Roger Mayweather, so you had a deep association with the you know, the Mayweathers, and you know what I'm saying, that gym scene there in TMT. I know you can't give away too many secrets and tradecraft, you know what I'm saying, with the gym culture and whatnot. We're not asking you know what I'm saying, to air no dirty laundry or whatever, but like let you know what I'm saying, tell us a little bit, you know what I'm saying, about, you know what I'm saying, the you know what I'm saying, that gym culture is, you know what I'm saying, over in Las Vegas, and being you know what I'm saying, being affiliated with the money team and whatnot.
It was cool, man. I mean, they're my friends to this day. You know, it was nice to see Floyd, you know, in his environment, you know, and in his comfort zone where he was just working out, you know, like a beast, just nonstop. His work ethic is impeccable, and you know, his belief is something to learn from. And I mean, I've admired him for many years. I've grown up seeing him train, so I'm glad that I was able to do that, you know, and I'm happy to consider him a friend, and you know, I'm thankful for all the help that he gave me, and for me to be part of his team was a blessing.
Can you guys still hear me?
Yeah,
Yeah,
I can hear you, man.
we got Stat.
Yeah, so Jesse's gonna he's got another meeting that he's gonna be going to. So if you guys got one more question, either one of you guys, go ahead and hit him up. I'm gonna get off after he answers, and then I'm gonna get back on because I'm having some issues with my video here.
Okay.
So
Hey, well, I'm good, Jesse. Hey, like I said, thanks again for your time, and you know, saying it's coming in and sharing a little bit of your time with us. And you know, what I'm saying, I know, you know, what I'm saying, we kind of caught you at a busy time when, you know, what I'm saying, you're trying to take care of business, and still, you know, what I'm saying, still connect with the people, you know, what I'm saying, in your fan base or whatever. So if you'd like to say anything to your fans, or you know, what I'm saying, say anything, you know, saying as a parting shot, hey, please go ahead, and the mic is yours, man.
All right, well, thank you all for all the support, man. I truly appreciate it. Thank you for having me on the show. It's a pleasure. You know, each and every one of y'all. You know, I mean, Courtney, Tommy, and you know, Stacks is my boy. So for sure.
We appreciate you, man.
Yep, absolutely, man.
You got that? You got that question y'all wanted?
Yeah, hey, I got one more.
What's up, Tommy?
We talked a little bit about the different trainers and things of that nature, man. Have you ever thought about, mixing up and, getting with Robert Garcia, with that huge stable that they have over there? There could be a lot that could, as you said, you've benefited from a lot of that with the different trainers, with that stable that they have, sparring, with that RGBA camp. Have you ever, has that crossed your mind before?
You know what? I have an immense respect for Robert Garcia. He's a cool dude. He's a great trainer. One of the top guys right now. Definitely someone to go with. It's never crossed my mind, but I do see what they're doing, and they're doing a great job. I give them nothing but credit. We'll see. We'll see what falls along the lines for me, man. But we look forward to coming back November, December at the latest. God willing, 154, and I'm going for those titles.
Hey, man. We absolutely want to see you take them down. So we're big fans of yours, great supporters, and we'll be watching, man. So once again, thank you for joining us, Jessie Vargas, on the Standing 8 podcast. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Hey,
Thanks,
God bless,
Standing 8 podcast. See y'all soon.
Hey, God bless.
All right, thanks, Jesse.
God bless.
All right, guys, I'm gonna hop right off. I'm gonna hop right back on.
All right, man.
Hey, we'll be here, man.
Hey, so let's do a little bit of talking, man. Let's talk.
Hey, shit, man. Yeah, you know what I'm here to do, dog.
Hey, so we're gonna go ahead and kind of kick to one of the things that you are big on, which is the female boxing scene. We just saw McCaskill and Braekhus. Tell us your thoughts on that, man. That was something that a lot of people didn't see coming. But that fight was a banger, dude. That was a nice ass damn fight. What'd you think about
it? Man, to me, it was kind of bittersweet, man, because I've been I've been big on Cecilia Braekhus for a while. Since I really started putting a keen eye on the women's side of things within the sport. I've been blessed to meet her in person. Hey, thanks again for the stack for making that dream come true. So I mean, as far as what she's meant to the game, what type of champion she's been, what type of representative she's been, as far as being the first lady of women's boxing, that's sad to to see a person who is just who's just put everything into this fall short with it, we're kind of she's kind of at a crossroads, so we're kind of at a crossroads as far as what she's gonna do next and what we're expecting or what we can look out for. So I think it remains to be seen whether she's gonna exercise the rematch clause that she has a right to, or go ahead and call it a career. If it is the end for Cecilia Braekhus, all I can say is trailblazer, man. You put her up there with Lucia Riker, Christy Martin, Ann Wolf, Layla Ali, trailblazer, man. So I mean, if and now that the Boxing Hall of Fame has a specific category for women's boxers to enter the Hall of Fame now. I mean, it's off top. She's a lot for being a first ballot Hall of Famer.
Yeah.
If this is the last we see of her. So I mean, and that's basically, there's no, I think a lot of people minimize women's boxing as far as just because it's not as prevalent in the mind of the mainstream sporting fan here in America or whatever, to be dismissive and be like, well, there's not too many of them out there, or there's not a lot of competition or whatever. There's no, when you look at Cecilia Braekhus' career, no caveats, no concessions. She did that. She earned that. You know what I'm saying? And I think if it is the end, it's fitting that she lost it the way she did, or it was taken the way it did, because you know what? She wasn't given anything in her career. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. She went in there and she had to bang out everything. She had to come up the hard way. And she lost, she lost it the hard way. Because she ran up against somebody who was basically flipped it, and and was the equivalent of her when she was coming up hungry and whatnot. So all props to Miss McCaskill, the new undisputed 147-pound women's champ. I hope that, you know what I'm saying, to say that you hope she has as long of a reign as Cecilia Braekhus, that's a very tall order, because we all know Cecilia Braekhus was chasing history to be up in there with the Amos of a Joe Louis,
Joe Louis,
you know what I'm saying, a Holmes, you know what I'm saying, as far as number of title defenses, and more recently Triple G and B Hop, as far as the number of title defenses over, you know what I'm saying, over the better part of a decade. So, you know, that's going to be a tall order for McCaskill. But, you know what I'm saying, I just hope that, you know what I'm saying, win, lose, or draw, she is every bit the representative and the mantle carrier of, you know what I'm saying, of that distinction that Cecilia Braekhus was. And, you know what I'm saying, when you look at McCaskill's backstory and and the things that she's had to overcome and persevere through in order to get here, you know, if she, you know what I'm saying, if she's next up, well, you know what I'm saying, she's not next, you know what I'm saying, she's here. She's here now. You know what I'm saying? You can't say she's next up, she's here. So if she's here, it's only fitting that, you know what I'm saying, she's here by taking the route that she had to take to get here. And I hope, you know what I'm saying, I'm fully confident that she won't take anything for granted, and she's gonna run, you know what I'm saying, she's gonna run with it and just be that. And you know what I'm saying, so, you know what I'm saying, all props and all congratulations to both women for putting on a hell of a fight and for just being exemplary examples of, you know what I'm saying, women in the sport of boxing.
Yeah, man. And just like, you know, shout out to Sean Fitzgerald and also Long Live Boxing. You know, they just made some comments and just talking about, you know, at post-fight, it was all class. I mean, it was grace. It was all class. No excuses at all. You know, it was a pleasure just to see how she handled that defeat. It was almost a positive of how she handled that that defeat. You know,
women teach us that, man. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? Women teach it. You know what I'm saying? You think, you know what I'm saying, you gentlemen, you know what I'm saying, you think about the women that you've had in your lives, you know what I'm saying, from, you know what I'm saying, mothers, aunts, grandmothers, wives, significant others, and stuff like that. You know, so it's kind of, you know what I'm saying, I always say boxing is a great metaphor for life. You know what I'm saying? And you know what I'm saying, what you're saying with that class, that, you know what I'm saying, that embodiment of that spirit that we saw, you know what I'm saying, post-fight. I mean, that's just a lesson learned, you know what I'm saying, for, you know, with boxing being the vast majority of the fan base is, you know what I'm saying, or, you know what I'm saying, our males or whatever. But I just, you know, I just saw that as being another classic example about boxing in an art form that imitates life so well, and that women, you know what I'm saying, women teach us, you know what I'm saying, that humility, you know what I'm saying, that grace, you know what I'm saying, and things associated with such. So I thought that was just a beautiful moment for boxing.
Yeah, even backstage, you know, when you saw McCaskill go and, you know, deliver her, you know, her actual belt back, that was, I mean, it was a very powerful moment, man, and you know, it was one for the ages for everybody to see. Stacks, what's up, man?
You know, it almost feels like Cecilia this was going to be her last fight either way.
Yeah.
But it kind of seems like it was a relief that she lost.
Yes.
And I'll tell you why. Because she went in there and she fought a hell of a fight, and it really could have gone either way. You know, I do think Jessica outperformed her just a little bit, but it was a hell of a fight. It was a tightly contested fight. I mean, they both gave us a real good performance, but at least it kind of feels like if she would have won, it would have still been sitting in the back of my mind and in the back of her mind. Well, do I really retire?
Yep.
I'm undefeated. Do I go in there again? And then does she get embarrassed by, you know, somebody's per se, like even Clarissa Shields? You know, does she move up and wait to take that fight to test herself and get embarrassed and then have people second question how good of a champion she really was? You know, even though she's 39 years old. And this kind of just seems like, to me, it feels like, okay, I went in there, I fought a good fight, I lost. And you know what? I don't have it. And I don't have to prove anything to nobody no more. Now I can just drift away in the sunset. You know, I can be gone from the sport, or, you know, at least from competing in the sport. Maybe not gone away from the sport in general, you know, generally speaking, but just away from boxing and away from getting in that ring. And it's kind of just like, okay, I'm done. I know where I'm at. I got beat. I gave it my all, and the better person beat me tonight.
Yeah, man. It was almost that night. I remember watching it. I compared it. It was like a samurai warrior, just being honorable. Like she was like, I'm going out on my own accord. You heard the comments that she made, about missing her family, missing that time, because of what she's actually dedicated and the passion, that she's put into this craft, into the sport of boxing. So it was just like you said, man, it was like almost like a relief that she was able to give that type of fight and somebody, and it wasn't given, just as Courtney said, it wasn't given. And McCaskill actually came in there and took it from a grand champion, and she was willing to say, you got this, and I support you wholeheartedly, and I hope you do extremely well for a long time in this sport and carry it on and make me proud. So it was wonderful, man.
She could have made a million excuses. She could have made a million excuses, and she didn't. She wasn't able to return to her country. She's been in Big Bear, which is like 20 miles from where I live. She's been up there since January in the high altitude. So she's gone through a winter. She's gone through these fires that are going on out here in California. She's up there training in high elevation. People overtrain up there. People think, oh, Big Bear's a joke. I'm gonna go up there and I'm gonna train. People like absolutely when you see them fight and you think they're gun shy, their body just can't adjust to getting back to regular elevation in time. And when they go to throw their punch, they just can't because they've overtrained up there in Big Bear. It's a whole different world up there, And like I said, she could have made a million excuses and she didn't. And that's what besides everything else, just her I lost. Congratulations. Honorable.
Yep. All right. Let's switch topics to some of the more recent that we just saw this weekend. So let's talk about Dillian Whyte and Alexander Povetkin.
I called that shit.
Hey,
I called it.
Hey, you called it.
But hey, we gotta shout. I got us to the shout out to Standing 8 Podcast alumnus. You know what I'm saying, and valued, permanent honorary member Daniel Pena.
T-Rock.
You know what I'm saying? He said it for, he said it for laughs, but I think it was the most poignant comment I've heard in the, in the post-fight, cloud of it all, where he said, "I'm waiting for Dillian Whyte's. I'm waiting for fucking Povetkin's B sample."
Yeah.
Like, I can't even. And I was talking to Brandon, my man Brandon, who came down for the fight. We had a little fight party, but like we were speaking on this. It was like you can't even really have too solid of opinion on that result right now, just based on Povetkin's history. You know what I'm saying? So, and it really was like y'all already know I'm very cold. I'm very cold on this when it comes to boxers who have history of not being clean fighters or whatnot. So this was kind of a fight between two dudes who've gotten their hands caught in the cookie jar before. So as phenomenal as the action was and that result was in that fight, I really feel like I have to reserve judgment, man, until we see the dust settle and see if everything was up and up on these guys' doping tests. And I hope protocols were strictly adhered to. I think the United Kingdom has some of the strictest doping protocols, but we've seen recently too with Dillian Whyte's case where they haven't got it right. And Fury, he's had a protracted battle with them too, but they don't play when it comes to that over there. So I'm pretty confident in this one that doping protocols were strictly adhered to, but there's always, but if we look at Lil Similac, Jarrell Big Baby Miller, where he was under a lot of scrutiny in terms of the extracurriculars, and he still got caught up. You never know. And it's just so sad in this era, especially with this fertile, this fertile field of heavyweights we have right now, but so many guys getting caught up in the scandal, of this all. We really just got to see. You never know if these dudes have learned their lesson. or are still trying to get one over or whatever. So, you know what I'm saying, with me personally, you know what I'm saying, it was a great fight, exciting action, but I got PTSD over it now, man. You know what I'm saying? I'm really just holding out and hoping that everything is on the up and up as far as these guys' samples and the testing protocols were strictly adhered to.
Hey, Courtney, let me ask you this, man. What do you think Eddie Hearn really feels about this fight? You know, he seemed a little bit shocked, right? But it still leaves the door open for that Fury Joshua fight if the Fury Wilder fight doesn't go through. So what do you think Eddie Hearn's real thoughts on this fight were, man?
Dillian Whyte has spent upwards of 1,000 days as the WBC's mandatory, man. You know what I'm saying? 1,000 days, that's over 3 years, man. You know what I'm saying? So, like, I think Dillian Whyte has been that thorn in the side when you look at how the equation and how these guys stack up for a long time. Secretly, I think, you know what I'm saying, low-key, Eddie Hearn is relieved that Dillian Whyte's ass is finally out the way.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
I think so too,
you know
man.
Dillian Whyte does have a rematch clause. He does have a rematch clause.
Yeah, he does.
But, you know what I'm saying, and you know what I'm saying, it wouldn't it wouldn't surprise me at all if they ran that back and the result was different or completely opposite. But I mean, for now, you know what I'm saying, it looks like Dillian Whyte is out the way, and things can go ahead and progress. You know what I'm saying? And even if he does exercise the rematch clause, you know what I'm saying, especially in this trying time for, you know, since society and boxing as a whole, you know what I'm saying, fights are difficult to make logistically, you know what I'm saying, and whatnot. So, you know what I'm saying, even if he does exercise that rematch clause, that's gonna, you know what I'm saying, that buys a little time to, like, you know what I'm saying, keep him back to the side, to where, you know what I'm saying, he's not in that position of being a mandatory and having a rightful stake or having a rightful claim to a title shot. That is, you know, is counter to where, you know what I'm saying, we want to see him, not necessarily, but, you know what I'm saying, where the money's at. You know what I'm saying? It's like the money is lined up. You know what I'm saying? It's like, we know when these big fights happen, there's going to be a lot of money involved. Dillian Whyte is a guy who's obviously not going to bring as much money, but he has a rightful stake. He has a rightful claim, or at least he had one. But now he's out the way. So
he wasn't out the way of that post interview. Shout out to our boy Aaron. You know, like you said, hey, Aaron was a little mad at the end of that thing there, man. But I tell you what didn't get out of the way, that damn uppercut. That uppercut was clean, man. And regardless of how the fight was going before that, which, you know, a lot of people had, you know, Whyte was doing his thing, man. But you can't. You talking about the heavyweight division, man. Any clean shot in the heavyweight division can put a boy out.
I called it. You know what I'm saying? I called it. And the only thing that really shocked me was, you know what I'm saying, Dillian Whyte looked really good. You know what I'm saying? He was dominating the action at the point. You know, so we got to call it real. But Povetkin has got the sneakiest overhand I have ever seen on a heavyweight. You know what I'm saying? So, like, you know what I'm saying, I think that with Povetkin, that's always the X factor, is that, you know what I'm saying, that overhand. You know what I'm saying, one of the best in the business. I thought it was going to be that punch. He was going to catch Dillian Whyte. But it was, you know what I'm saying, a left uppercut, that was nasty.
And Bob Aaron, he won Twitter that day. As soon as that knockout took place, Bob Aaron.
Oh man, he was going in.
What did he say? He was more worried about keeping his mandatory WBC than watching out for that uppercut, and got put cold on his ass.
Yep, he's trolling hardcore.
Ooh-wee.
So,
man, oh man.
Yeah. What's up?
So what other good fights we have this weekend, man? We had 3. We had the PBC fights. We had Sean Porter and Formella. And I wouldn't say that was a good fight.
Smith, man.
Joe Smith.
That man will not go away. That man will not go away, man. Like, that was I predicted Eleider Alvarez to do the number on him, you know what I'm saying, in the unanimous decision.
I think I had you.
You know what I'm saying? We all know Eleider Alvarez. He's a slick operator. He's got a very edgy jab. But you know what I'm saying, like, Joe Smith is that guy who always has the potential to go in there and fuck your day up. But I didn't, I thought if he was going to do that, he was going to catch him with something or just jump on him. But the fact that, he was just in there and, he boxed dude's head off. That was, to me, that was the surprising thing about that.
Yeah.
Joe Smith, just when you forget about him, just when, you think he's solidified himself within that gatekeeper or, seasoned contender or, journeyman, a category or whatnot. Shit, now he's looking at a title shot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
it really is.
Just like Broner or something.
It's a very winnable title shot too. It's a very winnable title shot. So you know what I'm saying? So I mean, shout out to Joe Smith. Y'all know what I'm on. You know what I'm saying? Anytime we can have another American champ, in the game, I'm all I'm all about it. So, Joe Smith, he kind of messed my life up after when he did the B-hop. Bro, I will forever be pissed off. I drove 15 hours to see B-hop get literally put out of the ring by Joe Smith. But hey man, I'm good. I'm on that. I'm on board. I'm on board with Joe Smith. If this road he's on is leading him to a title shot, and I hope he does the damn thing and he brings another belt back to the U.S. of A.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
So, what do y'all think about Crawford and Thurman? We've been talking a lot of noise. Yeah. Well, we'll say Thurman's been talking a lot of noise, and this is like a revamp of what we used to see in Thurman years and years ago before he moved off, before he got married, and took his time off and all of that. He kind of became a lot more humble and quiet for a while, but now he's back on his shit talk. He's back talking about that. Oh, I was the one that said it. I got an O and I ain't afraid to let it go. I'll sign the contract on.
He let it go. He let it go. So hey, you know what I'm saying? That's the thing I'll say about Porter though. You know what I'm saying? Eventually he let that O go, and I'm a firm believer that a lot of times after that fighter takes that first L, that's what we see what they're really made of, and that's what we see what their character is comprised of. So you know what I'm saying? I thought personally that after he dropped that title to Pacquiao, we were basically going to see him do a very graceful and gradual transition to away from boxing and into marriage and starting a family. Maybe not necessarily retirement, but but now he's back. This matchup with Crawford is being floated about. I really don't think that's what he wants, but as fans, that's what we want to see. That's what's is he the opponent we we were particularly clamoring to see Crawford in there with? No, but this has got to if it's gonna happen, hey, I'm just glad this is what breaks the seal. If this is the fight that can get Crawford in with some of these PBC guys, then let's go. Let's go. Shout out to Antoine Wilkins, who's messed with us on this podcast since the inception. He's got a lot of skin in the game as a fan of both dudes, but I think result. If I gotta call it and call it early, I think Crawford beats his ass, man, and I think he gets him out of there late in the fight. But while it lasts, it's gonna be entertaining. There's gonna be a lot of shit talk, in the lead up. Between both those dudes, there's probably gonna be a lot of shit talk in the ring as the leather is flying. But I think where these guys' trajectory is right now, I think Crawford has always had a lot to say. And I think he's still, he feels he's still got more to prove. And one time thinks he has a lot to prove now as far as coming off his first loss, and basically showing the people what he's all about. So I think if it happens, I think it's going to be a great matchup.
What you think, Stacks?
I think it'll be a good fight, and I think it's a fight that can happen. I think both promotional companies can come to terms on this fight. I mean, it's win-win for PBC. You know, one of their fighters is getting a fight. They don't have to worry about putting them in there with one of their own. It's a good payday. More than likely, it'll be a pay-per-view fight. It'll give both promotional companies a chance to cross the street, not just with this fight, but maybe with some of their prospects they have, some of top-ranked prospects going up against some of PBC's prospects. I mean, there's some good fights that can be made, man. I mean, between Top Rank and PBC, and if this, you know, opens the floodgates, then might as well just do it. You know, Crawford's got some slim pickings over there with Top Rank right now, so he's got to do something. He's got to do something if he wants to fight, you know, or at least not just a fight, but a fight with a name, a recognizable name.
Yeah, and another somebody that could be prospect, but is a major rising star right now that we all know that we can kick into a little bit of discussion about. Young man that just got 2 murals, painted in his honor here in Texas, Vergil Ortiz Jr. You know, he's out there and he's looking for a fight. You know, he's waiting to see what happens and how the landscape shapes up. You know, we saw some interviews where he's talked about, you know, possibly somebody like a Boots Ennis. I think that maybe somebody like a Thurman that is, you know, trying to really get his name right back at the top of things. You know, that somebody like that could be somebody that he could fight and, you know, would be a very big challenge for him. But, you know, one thing that Vergil has mentioned a lot is, you know, the high risk, low reward. You know, and that could be one of those things where, you know, Thurman's like, I don't know.
You know, I'd like to see Vergil in there myself. I'd like to see him in there with a very big name that maybe not so dangerous for him. Even going across the pond and fighting somebody like a Brook or an Amir Khan, or even here in the States fighting Bronner at 147. Bronner's still a top contender. He's still a fighter. You know, he can still be in that top 10 at 147. You know what I'm saying? I mean, he can still make some noise. So I mean, somebody like that would be a big name. There'd be a lot of shit talking. People would realize who Vergil Ortiz is right away. If they want him to become a household name, get him in there with a big name. Sit him across the pond, have him fight Connor Brook, or have him fight here in the States against Bronner. And you know, that's a big opportunity for him to get his name out there even more. You know, for Golden Boy.
Well, you got Khan too busy trying to fight Oscar De La Hoya himself.
Man.
Oh man. Hey. Speaking of the old folks coming back, you know, we had Sergio Martinez get back in the ring. He got a stoppage, but you know what? This makes what we got Holyfield out there working out. Like, what's going on with this right now? What is going on with the world of all of these guys are coming back now? I feel like this is almost like the big 3 or something. Like
this COVID got these guys with cabin fever or something, man.
Yeah,
I mean, they locked in their house too long or something. Shit. I like there's no need for it. You know, I mean, unless they're hurting for money. You know what Dana White say? Cocaine's an expensive, you know, it's an expensive addiction.
Yeah.
You know, don't kill the messenger. I'm just saying what Dana said, you know what I mean?
Shout out to Dana White for that.
Nah, man. So, yeah.
Yeah.
This weekend, big fight this weekend. We have Victor Postol going up against Jose Ramirez.
Yeah.
So that should be a good fight. You know, Victor Postol's only loss is to Terence Crawford. You know, he's never been stopped. So I mean, I think it'll be a good challenge for Jose at you know, they're at 40. You know, but you know, talking about going back to Vergil, you know, with Jose Ramirez in his camp, with Mikey Garcia in his camp, they're at RGBA. I mean, he's got a world of top class, world class boxing right there that he can get sparring with to help him at 47. I mean, Vergil's destined for the top. That's all there is to it. You know, somebody like Boots Ennis, would I like to see him and Boots go at it? Of course I would. But you know what? When you have 2 prospects that are as good as both Ortiz And Boots, really, there's no need to make it this early in their careers.
Yeah.
You could let that fight marinate because there's so many other potential fights out there. Now, if those two were the top of the class and there was nothing else, say Spence and Crawford, for instance, where we want to see that, there's no need to marinate, make that fight happen. That would be a different story. But at 47, they're still on that upward mobility, and there's no need for either one of them to take an L like this in their career yet. And that's just my opinion. You know what I'm saying? Would I like to see them go at it? Of course, but there's really no need for it because there's still a lot of big names for Boots to fight and Vergil to fight, man. And let that fight come down the line. Let them get a few more wins under their belts, or maybe even a strap, and then let them go at it.
Yeah. I think you're right, man. We'll definitely see that fight down the line. Give them a couple of years. They're both young right now, and
they got to become household names. You know what I'm saying? They got to become household names. If they want that payday, if they're gonna fight that type of fight, 2 undefeated fighters like that are gonna fight that fight. They might as well get paid those big bucks. And right now they're not gonna get it because they're not household names yet. So they both got to grow into that to that championship level before I'd like to see that fight. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Courtney, what you think?
As far as Vergil Ortiz's prospects,
like a Vergil and Boots matchup, or even the other potential ones out there for him.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Vergil and Boots in it, that's way too early. You know what I'm saying? That's just one of those fights where I would even say that's not even intriguing right now. You know what I'm saying? You want to see that fight when there's, when there's everything to lose. When those two are matching up. As far as right now with with Vergil Ortiz, realistically, where I see it going, it's kind of hard to gauge because so much of the action right now is at 147. I mean, with 147 is on the PBC side of things, I mean, as far as Kell Brook, Kell Brook he's more. I really don't see him being viable at 147. I think he is. I think it's official that Kell Brook has grown out of the welterweight and is an established junior middleweight now. And as far as I'm not a big fan of catchweight fights. So I think Vergil Ortiz is really. That really doesn't do much for him as far as establishing his brand at 147 right now. Amir Khan, I think that's probably the most viable, high-profile matchup in and around that area because basically the main sticking point is I think everybody's collectively let go of holding their breath to seeing a Kell Brook and Amir Khan matchup. Because the main thing that's done is neither of those two are willing to budge on the weight. Khan is saying I'm at 147. Kell Brook is like, I'm not going back down to 147. So the weight is the reason we're not going to see those two. But if we're not going to see that, and Amir Khan is still trying to have skill in the game as far as being a viable name and a recognizable figure within the sport, hell yeah, that would be a great fight between Vergil Ortiz and Amir Khan, and it's one that's and it's one that can be made because Amir Khan has been so fluid in terms of what networks he fights and what promoters he's been able to work with. So I mean, if I think as far as his associated with Eddie Hearn now I think that's a deal that's exclusive to the UK and fights that are put on there. As far as Amir Khan and Vergil Ortiz doing it up here in the States, we know Vergil Ortiz. We know Amir Khan has had a pretty reasonable working relationship with Oscar De La Hoya, and he's obviously been on the other DAZN platform. So I mean, I think in terms of prospects for the biggest name Vergil Ortiz can't get at 147, it would probably be Amir Khan.
Okay. Now, question that came from the homies at Long Live Boxing. Does it concern us that Vergil may get pushed into a huge fight too soon, just because of how highly ranked he is, by all the big, the 4 sanctioning bodies.
Well, for me, it doesn't concern me one bit, and I'll tell you why. Vergil doesn't have that superstar status like Ryan Garcia does, like Canelo does. He's getting there. He's going to be a type of fighter that develops his legacy in the ring, and I think he's going to get more respect that way than if he were to just try to start becoming a social media star. And I'm not saying there's anything wrong with that, but what I'm saying is with somebody like Vergil, he's a throwback fighter. And he's one of those fighters that you would see typically in the 80s. He's going to come forward. He's going to bang. He's going to box. He's going to put on a show in the ring, and he's going to become a champion. If he does get that title fight, if he does go in there against somebody that is just a little bit too much for him, I think it's win-win for him. For one, he's gonna gain that respect from not just the fans, but he's gonna gain respect from other fighters in that division, and it's gonna open more doors for him to fight big names. If he wins, he becomes a champion. If he loses, it's gonna show that he does have a few weaknesses, and it's gonna open more doors for other people to fight him because of the fact that he's not undefeated. And sometimes with somebody like Vergil, that may be a little bit lower of a reward, say for somebody like Pacquiao to fight. Vergil's not a big name yet. He's not a household name. So if he were to get in there with somebody like Pacquiao or somebody like, a Danny Garcia, even though I know he's going up against Earl Spencer, he does take on one of these champions like Terence Crawford, right? And he gets beat. His name's going to get put out there, and he's going to get a lot more respect. So I don't think it's necessarily too soon, and that's just because of the fact you can't keep having them fight journeymen or gatekeepers or high gatekeepers. There's going to have to come to that time where Vergil takes the next step, and it's going to be in the next two to three fights.
What's your thoughts on that one, Courtney? That's a good one.
Well, I mean, I'm a firm believer that Vergil Ortiz ain't nothing to mess with, man. You know what I'm saying? As far as skill wise, as far as what he can do in the ring, I personally would like to see him in 2 more non-title fights, and preferably one against a more recognizable figure, like an example, an Amir Khan-ish or type person, if not Amir Khan himself. But after that, I think I think he's ready for he's ready for a title shot. You know what I'm saying? I think there's 2. My man, my man over in the UK, Scott Graves, he said he gave a very good point where he said he thinks it's very possible for prospects to stagnate when they've been on that build-up mode for too long, and I think Vergil Ortiz is more in danger and has to be more cautious about that than being thrown in over his head too soon. So I think it's just a natural progression for him that he needs another fight or 2 before and then go ahead and get that title shot rather than him just continuing to hover and being thrown in to with showcase or stay busy fights.
Well, gentlemen, it's been nice talking to you guys. I gotta run. One fight I am hearing about though before I let you guys go is a fight coming up with Golden Boy pretty soon at 160 between Jaime Munguia and Jason Quigley. So that's a fight that there's big talks about that out here. I can't see that fight taking place. I know Quigley's was one of the names that was actually thrown out there for Canelo when everybody was outpricing themselves, or so they say they were, but who knows? And it's going to be a trip to see what happens with Canelo, to see if he actually takes that fight for the WBC title or if DAZN makes him fight somebody else. So we'll see.
Yeah. It sounds like they're gonna try to make him fight somebody else. So we'll see what happens with that, because that announcement did not make a lot of people happy. So
no,
they can go a whole different direction.
Exactly.
Well, Stacks, man, hey, we appreciate you, dude. We know you got to run, man. Thank you for being on Just Boxing. we always appreciate your love and support, man. Always.
Big shout out to my boy
Hey.
Sean Fitzgerald, Just Boxing. Big
Yes.
shout out to you guys, man. Standing Nate, you guys keep doing your thing. You keep grinding week after week. You guys are like, fuck COVID. I'm gonna just keep doing it. So you guys are doing your damn thing, man. I appreciate you guys. I like listening to you guys. What's up, Mike? If you're tuning in, big shout out to Mike and to Aaron. I know Aaron took a backseat today, so I appreciate you guys, man. Much love. You guys need anything from me, you guys know how to contact me, brothers.
Hey, thanks again for hooking it up with the champ, Jessie Vargas. And as always, man, hey, thank you so much for being an exemplary American, man, and just what you do day in, day out for the veterans of this country.
Oh, man, no thanks needed. We love it, man.
And we love you, man, and we recognize the real, man.
Yep. All right, man. I appreciate you guys.
Yes, sir.
All right, Tommy, you guys take care. Peace.
God bless, man.
Yeah, man. A lot of great topics there, man. So, while we're talking about Vergil, man, it was great to get out there and see Juan Velasquez and team creating that beautiful art that they created out in Grand Prairie, Texas, right next to Grand Prairie High School where Vergil went to school. I had the pleasure of interviewing his dad and Vergil Jr. Both great guys, very, very humble, hard working individuals. Love what they're doing for the community. Love what they're doing for the city of Grand Prairie, Texas. I love what they're doing for Texas, period, man.
Yeah. I mean, that's the thing too, is the Dallas-Fort Worth area is not a monolith, man. There's there's worlds within worlds in that world. You know what I'm saying? So Vergil Ortiz, with our respect, seeing what you did with the interview and the segment and the just the coverage we were able to give him with the mural. Is I just love how he's not content to just be a Dallas-Fort Worth or Dallas, or a Dallas.
Mm-hmm.
He's specifically trying to put his community out there in Grand Prairie, Texas, on the map. You know what I'm saying? And with that demographic being a very, being a very established, a very heavily Hispanic, area out there, and just basically trying to give, trying to give the people hope in these, in these hard times with what we're going through with this pandemic and with the political and social climate in this country, man. So I just love it, man, when fighters just are embraced by a community and just embrace that community back and show love. And Vergil Ortiz is doing a lot to not just put the not just put it on for the Dallas-Fort Worth area, put it on for Texas, but put it on for his hood out there in Grand Prairie, man. I think that's a beautiful thing, man, and it's very heartening to see that. And just, seeing people just, him reaching out and people reaching back out for him. Just to embrace him. And with that mural, just to appreciate him and just basically say thank you for being our champ. We've seen I've been out to the Central Valley, the Fresno area, and seen the love that Jose Ramirez is getting, where he kind of put that community of the Central Valley, California, Avenal, California, on his back and bringing attention to farmers and water rights out there in California, man. So just to see Vergil Ortiz doing everything he can to bring attention to the needs of his community, that's a beautiful thing, man. And I forget who said it in the group, man, but they said we're not just boxing fans. We're human beings. We're people who have a love for the sport, but can see so much of ourselves and so much of our situations in the world around us and our own social views and, our present situations going on and being solidified and basically being a metaphor for life within the sport, man. So, when we can, we can enjoy the sport and we can enjoy robust discussion on the, on the boxing game, but also, see how that ties in people's lives. That's, I think that's all to the good, man.
Yeah, man. And like I said, once again, shout out to Velasquez art. beautiful displays. I can't wait to get out there and see that second one that just got done over the weekend. I was out of town, so I was unable to make it to that one, but I'll definitely be going out there and checking that one out as well. He's done some beautiful things as far as just with his talent, his craft. I believe he did a different mural for Vanessa Gillian as far as on the veteran side, man, and just what art speaks to overall, and that passion and how you can let those things pour out when you're creating that for everybody. And it was beautiful. I think it's supposed to last like 25 years or something like that. So that those things would be wonderful markings and great areas. As it said in the interview, that's right off of the road that Vergil would run and runs all the time to train in his own city, right next to his high school, where he was part of cross country over there, right next to that track. So beautiful stuff, man, and great representations of not only boxing but just life in general. So yeah, we appreciate that, and appreciate everything from Team Ortiz, from junior and senior, all great, and we appreciate them and look forward to. We look forward to, as y'all saw and heard, we look forward to the next time that he's in the ring, because we know it's going to be a banger. Oh yeah, he comes to play 16-0, 16 knockouts. He's looking to put them down. So shout out to them. Well, Courtney, you got anything else you want to talk about, brother?
Hey, you know what? I'm tapped out for the night, man. I'm saying? I'm still, like I said, I'm back stateside. I'll be back here for a while. I'm fully, I never stopped being vested in this movement, but now I'm 10 toes down, back with the Standing 8 family. It feels good, and it just, it just feels good to be back, in the USA, and being back to where I can more readily connect with this movement we got going on, man. And let's keep it going, man. Progress. Let's move this thing forward. And we thank you all for tuning in and being a part of this movement, being a part of this family, and being a part of this beautiful thing called the sport of boxing, man. Everybody who's taking the time out to give us a bit of their attention throughout their busy lives, with with their careers, their friends, their families. Hey, we thank you. We love you. We embrace you for embracing us. God bless.
Absolutely, man. Thank you for everything that you do, representing the military, representing our country. Going over there, waking up, kicking ass, repeating, and coming back safe, man.
Hey, that's my highest honor, man. That's my highest honor. Thank you all. Thank you all. So,
all right. Well, that was the last of it. Episode 58, Standing 8 Podcast.
Books.
Signing off.